Hi everyone, Gary Glover here, relationship guru. Now look, I've received many messages recently, but this one from Rose really stood out for me. Hi Rose, thanks for writing in. She writes, "Hi Gary, I'm writing to you anonymously. Rose isn't my real name, but I had to give a name in order for me to submit a message via your online system." It's a clever move by Rose, or whatever her name is. Look, many of you will want to open up about tough issues in your lives, but will fear using your real names. Well, what Rose demonstrates here is a very effective way to talk about your problems with confidence, but at the same time, protect your identity. You could even get quite creative with your choice of names. For example, whenever I'm protecting my identity, I use the name of David Barnes. David Barnes is the brother of my second ex-wife, Melissa. Now look, I apologise for my use of language here, but David Barnes was nothing short of an absolute cunt to me. And being able to use his name as my secret identity in some odd way restores some kind of justice to the world. Anyway, back to Rose's message. She goes on to write, "My problem relates to sex and my complete lack of interest in it. My husband, Fred, and I have been married for 21 years. Now, Fred has a very high sex drive, so we are struggling to find a middle ground. In the past, I used to love sex all the time. Back then, Fred used to hide from me because he knew I wanted it, in fact, needed it. But all of a sudden, the tables have now turned. My desire for sex dissipated, while Fred's only grew. I'm worried Fred will start looking elsewhere. He's been masturbating a lot recently, but he's becoming bored and frustrated of pleasuring himself. I fear what will be next. Please help us. Kind regards, Rose." Yeah. Now, as I explained in my first video, sex has never been a huge part of my life. It plays a much bigger part now, thanks to my blind lover Fiona, but with regards to previous partners, I can strongly relate to Rose's plight. However, whilst I may be able to relate, I am not a female. I think I'm best bringing in a female voice here. So, allow me to introduce to you Vivan Parker.
Thank you, Gary. Vivan Parker here, sex therapist. Rose, to be blunt, Fred is the problem. It's perfectly normal for females in long-term relationships to go off sex long before the male. Reasons for this can vary, lack of interest, boredom, so you need to ask yourself a few questions. Do you still find Fred sexually attractive? Do you like his body? Do you have positive feelings towards his member? Do you still love him? If the answer to any of these questions is no, then your marriage is over. If the answer is yes, then you are the problem, and you must come and see me as soon as possible. Details are on my website, vivanparker.co.uk.
Right, thanks Vivian for the very clear-cut advice. Rose, for what it's worth, I don't think sex is necessarily the problem here. I think that 21 years is a long time, and perhaps you've lost your spark. So my advice would be to go on dates again, to make an effort with each other, to dress up for each other, whether that be for the date or in the bedroom. The latter is something that I was never comfortable with, whereas Melissa, she loved it. She would often force me to dress up as Liam Neeson from the film Taken. Not having any children myself, I found it difficult to be convincing in that role, so we would end up in this odd situation where she would become Liam Neeson and I would play the role of the sex-trafficked daughter. So, Fred, Rose, whatever your real names are, thank you so much for your message. Please do keep me posted, and I wish you the very best of luck.